point.
Come and help us. Now, when he comes, everything good, yeah? Okay. When he get those letters, Imam Husayn decides to make a journey. He goes from Makkah and Medina to, and by the way, Yazid had also sent soldiers in Makkah to assassinate Imam Husayn. Imam Husayn said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave Makkah because it's holy land.
Yeah.
I don't want my blood to be spilled in holy land.
And there's a prophecy by the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, that there will be an individual, a frog will die on this land. So Imam Husayn Islam said, I do not want to be that frog.
That frog.
So I want to leave, I want to move from here and go to Kufa.
Yes, where basically the letters and stuff was coming from. So the place that the letters and stuff were coming from was Kufa. You have to understand when Yazid comes, when Yazid came into power, he appointed someone specific in Kufa. Because a lot of people say, you know, Yazid didn't kill Imam Husayn. So I'm going to break this down a little bit today for you. What he done was he appointed a specific governor, Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad was known to be a full Nasibi. A Nasibi means hater of the Prophet's family, as was his father. And his father was Muawiyah's guy. So Yazid straight away appointed Ibn Ziyad and said, listen, I want you to control Kufa from now on. So he had it set up so that if anything happens, Ibn Ziyad will martyr anyone he needs to. And he started being harsh and killing the Shia in Kufa. When Imam Husayn made the journey, so Imam Husayn made a journey with 72 members of his family. So it wasn't an army he took. You know, it was his woman. So, by the way, when I say his woman, it's the Prophet's woman. It's the Prophet's granddaughters.
Yeah.
It was his grandchildren, it was his sons, it was his wives, and some of his companions and family members. So 72. On the way to Kufa, now he's going there. On the way to Kufa, he gets stopped at a place. So the journey is obviously long. At that time, they would be on horseback. They stopped him in a place called Karbala. The person who stopped him, his name was Khur. So he was Yazid's commander in the army. He stopped him. So when he stopped him, he said, we want you to stay in Karbala. Imam Husayn said, no, I have to go. He said, no, you're going to stay here. And he came with the army. Now, the army, historians differ about the numbers of the army. Some say 5,000, some say 10,000, some say 20,000, some say 40,000. The muhakkikeen ulama generally tend to say 20,000. But like I say, I don't argue about numbers. You can call it 10,000, you can call it 5,000. I'm not fussed. It doesn't detract from what happened. When they stopped them in Karbala, they said, listen, we want you to accept Yazid. And there was a commander, so apart from Hur, there was also another commander, the main commander of the army, Umar bin Sa'ad. Umar bin Sa'ad. Umar bin Sa'ad is the son of a Sahabi. Companion. His father is Sa'ad Tabi'in. And his father is Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas. So we've got Yazid, who's Muawiyah's son of a companion. We've got Umar bin Sa'ad, son of a companion.
We've got Sahaba writing letters.
We've got Sahaba writing letters, companion. So I've already made the link already now.
One more point said, Amr ibn Hurayf.
Yes.
He was the chief of police of Kufa. Who was he?
Companion.
Who's companion?
So chief of police of Kufa, companion. And he was arresting people and rounding them up.
Yeah.
Cool. So now when he stops them, they say to him, listen, Umar bin Sa'ad says, you have to accept Yazid. So Imam Husayn says, listen, someone like me won't accept Yazid. They kept pressure on them. It was a desert. So Imam Husayn got his tents ready with his family, and it's a desert. Burning sand. For those of you that have gone to Iraq, or for those of you that know about it, they know about the story, they know how it is.
In fact, Imam Husayn alayhi salam, he actually purchased that land, and when people asked him, why are you buying this land? He said, because when I die, no one's going to bury me. So if this land...
because Islamically, Ghasb, meaning you need to be buried on the land you own, or you paid for.
So he
bought it
land.
because of the prophecy. Because the Prophet had told Imam Husayn already what was going to happen.
In Karbala.
So there's a famous hadith, inshallah, I'm going to quote it in a bit as well, where the Prophet actually cried for Imam Husayn before it happened.
And these people have an objection to crying today.
Today people say, why do we cry? The Prophet cried before he was martyred. Forget about we cried today. The Prophet cried before it happened. So the Prophet already started the mourning. When they stopped him and they said that he reached, I think, 2nd of Muharram. So the Islamic months are divided into different days, in different years, different names. So the month he was stopped in was Muharram, and that tends to be known as the start of the Islamic year, even though there's a bit of dispute on that, but it tends to be known as that. When he was stopped, he was on the 2nd or the 3rd. They kept him there until the 7th. They said, look, this person's, we're going to obviously pressurize him and make him give allegiance. They kept pressuring him. If you're with your family and there's an army of 10,000, 20,000, 5,000, most people would say, look man, I want to protect my family. But Imam Husayn knew that if I now accept this person,
Islam's finished.
Islam's finished. People will now recognize the Prophet's grandson, who? Sayyid al-Shabab al-Jannah, not just a grandson, but rather the leader of the youth of paradise. And remember, inshallah, everyone goes heaven, everyone's a youth there. So there is no, he's the leader of everyone.
Sayyid, can I just add a point? Sayyid made a very interesting point. He said that Islam would not be identified. In fact, there's a tradition in Bukhari in volume 1 where Anas ibn Malik himself admits that he does not recognize anything from the practice of the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. To the point when Imam Ali alayhi salam was later and led the prayers. What happened? What did they say?
You've made me remember the prayer of the Prophet.
You made me remember the prayer of the Prophet.
So how much has changed?
So look at how Islam had been corrupted, the decline of Islam. People talk about the best of generations. We are the best of generations.
So, he's thinking, you reminded me of the Prophet's prayer. So things have changed. So Imam Husayn was that last pillar. Because remember, Imam Ali was martyred by Ibn Muljim, Lanatullah alayh. Imam Hassan was martyred by Muawiyah, by poison, Lanatullah alayh. Imam Husayn was the last person.
And in that time, they were cursing
his father,
the Sunni fourth rightly guided caliph.
100%.
So you wouldn't even have your four rightly guided caliph.
Yeah.
We know you can't count.
It's a later
hadith is 12.
Yeah.
We know you can't count to 12. So you say four rightly guided caliphs.
Yeah.
Bukhari and all the rest say 12 caliphs.
Not 4.
Yeah.
They would have only had 3.
Yeah. So
which is what they had for
it's a later
many
day.
years.
It's a later day edition of theology where you've made it nice.
An
full.
evolution of kufr.
Yeah,
Exactly.
evolution of theology. So the point here is now, once that had happened, they said to him, listen. So Imam Husayn was that last pillar that he stands in their way now, for that system to kind of take over. So they had to basically go for him. So on the 7th day, they said, listen, what we're going to do now is we're going to stop your water supply. So Yazid's army, Ibn Ziyad, wrote to Umar bin Saad and said to them, stop their water supply. So Umar bin Saad said to Imam Husayn, we're going to stop the water now from the 7th day. Now you can imagine we fast in the Western world. It's cold sometimes it's hot. We fast for one day and by the end of it, we're finished. Yeah? This is in South Iraq in a desert. And it's not like, oh, you eat before sahur and you then break it. No, it's just mutlaq and fasting the whole day. You're not eating, or whatever food you got left, there's no water.
Scorching hot weather.
Scorching hot weather.
1,000 odd miles.
1,000 odd miles.
From Medina to Kufa.
To Kufa. 7, 8, so 7th night, 8, 9, 10, 3 days. So they're thinking every day Imam Husayn's going to budge. Every day he's going to be like, okay, you know what? Just give me the water and I'll accept allegiance. Every night, they say that, the narrators say that you could hear the buzzing of the sounds from the camps of Imam Husayn because they were reciting Quran.
Like
buzzing,
bees,
like bees.
Humming of bees.
One day, one of us without food and water, I'll see how much we recite after that.
And the six-month-year-old son.
He had a 6-month baby as well.
Imam Husayn Islam. With these people, they deprived them of water.
Deprived them of water, including women and children.
Grandson of the
Prophet. Great-grandson of the Prophet. Now, on the 9th night, they said, listen, are you going to accept Yazid? Imam Husayn said, what I said on the first day? I say, no. Never like someone like me, so I accept someone like Yazid. Simple as that. They said, then prepare for war. Imam Husayn said, no problem. No problem. Again, he's the son of Imam Ali. Imam Ali is known as Asadullah al-Ghalib. Asad in Arabic means lion. In Urdu or Farsi, we say Sher Khuda, the lion of God. So he was from that warrior class anyway. Imam Husayn was not going to accept it in the first place. On the 10th, so on the 9th night, Imam Husayn done his whole family pure worship and dhikr of God. Just remembering what's going to happen and being ready for it because they were prepared for it. Yeah? Yeah? Mentally preparing himself. Now, on the 10th day, which is known as Ashura. Ashura means 10th. The 10th of Muharram. That's the day the battle commenced. And one by one, the Prophet's family members went out and fought like lions. Each one fought like lions. To the fact that the enemies in the books of history, the enemies are narrating that fought them, that we've never seen someone fight like that after 3 days of thirst. It's not us saying it. If you look at the books of Maqtal means where someone's died, books of history. They mention that we've never seen someone fight like that while he's thirsty. So one after the other, Imam Husayn, his brothers, his cousins,
Sisters,
his
aunts.
sisters, all of them had to go through it. Of course, the woman didn't fight, but the sons, the children, the cousins, the friends, the companions, they went out and fought. And they were all martyred. Now, on that same day, Imam Husayn also took his 6-month-old baby. And he said to them, listen, your problem is with me. You're not giving me water. My child ain't done nothing. He's a baby. Because naturally, even in our language, we say a child is masoom. Masoom here means in lugha, innocent. Meaning the baby is nothing, he doesn't have nothing to do with it. Just a baby. So Imam Husayn said, if not me, give my baby water. And some of the soldiers in Yazid's army started crying. Because they realized that this is just injustice upon injustice. And Umar bin Sa'ad clocked that my army starting to get a bit thing towards Imam Husayn. So what he done was he told one of his soldiers, Hurmala, Lanatullah alayh, to kill the child. And Hurmala, he got an arrow and pierced the throat, the blessed throat of Imam Husayn's son.
Not any arrow.
Not any arrow. Talk about the arrows.
This was a particular type of arrow that was used for hunting purposes. And they said that the end of the arrow, it had 3 points. It was a three-headed an arrow, which he fired on a 6-month-old baby in the arms of Imam Husayn.
While he was in his arms. All documented in history. There's no dispute on this. So when that had happened, and he killed the 6-month, the Prophet's great-grandson. When he killed Ali, and we call him Ali al-Asghar. So Imam Husayn called a lot of his sons Ali. So when they asked him, why did you call so many of your sons Ali? He goes, if I had 1,000 sons, I would call all of them Ali. Because he loved that name. After he was martyred, Imam Husayn got the blood of his son and threw it in the air. And they say in the books of history and Maqdal that when he threw it in the air, that blood didn't come back down. And that was Imam Husayn saying to God, Ya Allah, this is my sacrifice for you. Know that I'm standing here as a sacrifice to you. Look what I'm giving for you. After this has happened, you see what I told you about the person who stopped Imam Husayn first, Hur. Before the battle started, Hur basically realized that this is the... Because remember when Hur first stopped him, Hur stopped him and Imam Husayn said, may your mother mourn you. That was a saying of the Arabs. If you're trying it with me, they would say, may your mother mourn you. So Hur said, look, you've disrespected and what said about me. What you said about me, I can't say about you because his mother's Fatima. So Hur still had that Muslim thing in him where he's like, look, your mother's Fatima, I can't even say that about you. So he realized who these people are from the start. So before the battle started, Hur came to Imam Husayn with his son. And they say he came to Imam Husayn like a prisoner. Like, I've come to you as a prisoner, please forgive me. He's a commander. And he said, look, please accept my forgiveness. Imam Husayn took him and said, I forgave you the minute you said it. He became one of Imam Husayn's soldiers. And they say, if I'm not mistaken, he was the first one who went out. Yeah. That he was one of the first ones who actually fought out against his old army. And it's like what I said, it takes a minute to go from a mal'oon to a hazrat. Mal'oon means cursed, hazrat means praiseworthy. And it also takes a minute to go from a hazrat to a mal'oon. Vice versa. So Hazrat Hur was, Rahmatullah alayhi, Radiallahu anhu, was one of the first ones that achieved that martyrdom. And one after another, the Prophet's family were martyred in the most brutal of ways. The books of history narrate it, but we don't even narrate all of it in our mosques because it's so brutal. Now, at this moment in time, I want to highlight something because we've talked about what happened. What Imam Husayn alayhi salam essentially done is there was two in Karbala. This is the reason why it's important for Shias. It's not just he was martyred. Imam Husayn broke a concept. In Karbala, two concepts were clashed. The concept of imamah, which is what we believe in as Shia Muslims, that Allah chooses. You are a divine authority. There is no people choose, people make rules, authority, power, you can come by coup. No. Whoever Allah chooses, he's the imam. And then you had the other system. The other system was that. The other system was what? The system of Saqifa. Saqifa was when Abu Bakr Umar usurped the caliphate. And the system was that you can actually choose a leader by selection, by having a small meeting. Imagine there's 6 of us here now. 6 of us as long as we're people of power and authority, can choose for the whole nation. Is that a fair election?
No.
If David Cameron them lot right now, they're people of authority. If 6 of those, 7 of those, 3 of those chose for the whole nation, would you call that an election? No. So even to call it an election is just a joke anyway.
Yeah.
So there was that aspect. So we know that that's one element. The second way of becoming a caliph, according to the Saqifa system,
Direct appointment.
was direct appointment, al-wasiyah. So I'm about to die. I want Sayyid Ali to be my successor. I say after me Sayyid Ali. So we believe in that, but if the Prophet does it, because he's getting it from God. But if someone else does it, it's invalid. That's the second concept. The third concept in the Saqifa system is military coup. So you're allowed to take power by coupping by force. So right now you're ruling, I get an army and take you out. Guess who the new leader is? Me. Just like that. So in Karbala, that system clashed because Yazid, if you think about it, how did Yazid come to power? His father. Wasiyah, direct appointment. Military power, because his father had threatened people. If you oppose Yazid, you were dead. That's why a lot of the Sahaba, Muawiyah, Muawiyah ibn Abu Sufyan.
Yeah, for example, you had individuals such as Hujr ibn Adi, who was a companion. That's a separate discussion.
Yeah.
Who was made to force curse Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi Islam.
Are you guys trying to say
Yeah.
Muawiyah radiallahu anhu
Yeah.
was corrupted?
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, this Tardi you're using, radiallahu anhu, his brother's gone. Okay, he's gone. That didn't last. But anyway, so carry
We had
on.
a brother bite. He asked me about Muawiyah, then I gave him an answer, and he started biting his hand. Don't know what that means, but maybe it's a Saqifa system. I don't know what it is, but cool. The point is that even on a day like this, people are not talking about Husayn.
No, they're not.
So let me
Why
just
don't they? Why don't they?
I'll tell you why. Because the last point on this issue was that the aspect of wasiyah, the aspect of military power, these systems are what made Yazid a caliph. So he came to power as a legitimate caliph,
Yeah.
not for us, for the Saqifa system,
For them.
for them, based on those principles. When Imam Husayn opposed that, he wasn't opposing Yazid. Yazid is just a guy. He's not worth anything.
Yeah.
These are names.
Yeah.
We analyze concepts. Analyze concepts and you understand it. Imam Husayn opposed a concept. The concept and the way of selection of Saqifa.
Yeah.
Because he showed you that I've now broken every principle that you choose a Khalif with.
Yeah, absolutely. In other words, if there was an individual who's in power, who's a tyrant, who oppresses the people, who's become a leader by force, then no individual should stand up against him. And this is why today,
We have that second principle. Now, to justify that principle, they made another principle. If you oppose the ruler of your time,
What?
it's haram.
Trump, and this is why they're fighting today in the park. They can't even agree on whether or not you should rebel against leaders or not.
Because of this
You
concept.
see it week in, week out.
So this concept, I would like to ask those guys that obviously, and this will make you understand why the only people that speak about these issues are the Shia. Because how can you speak about Imam Husayn? Because Imam Husayn went against the Saqifa system.
Yeah.
He went against choosing a Khalif by wasiyah.
Yeah.
He went against accepting someone by power.
Yeah.
He went against the concept of not rising against an uncorrupt ruler. Corrupt ruler. Because they say you can't rise against a corrupt.
Ruler.
Was Yazid corrupt? Even though he's corrupt.
Yeah.
No one will deny he's corrupt. They might try different whether he's a kafir or not. No problem, Habibi, he's a Muslim. Was he corrupt? Yes. By ijma, challenging. By ijma, he's a fasik. No one denies it. So Imam Husayn went against a corrupt leader. What's your hukum on Imam Husayn?
And this is where they shy away.
Because where's your actual ruling on Imam Husayn? Who was right in that war? That's why some of the scholars, like Ibn Khaldun, what has he said?
He died from the sword of his grandfather.
He's paraphrased another scholar and said, Imam Husayn, he's paraphrased Ibn Arabi al-Maliki.
Yeah.
Not the Sufi one, the other one. He's paraphrased him and said, Imam Husayn was killed by the sword of his grandfather. What does he mean by that? Because he's trying to say, attribute to the Prophet is that you can't rebel against a ruler. So he died by the sword of his grandfather. He went against his grandfather's law, he died. They've got this concept. And that's why they can't really talk about it, because this opens up the whole Saqifa system. So with all due respect, this speech is not to cause sectarianism. Let's be clear about the issue. It's to highlight Karbala is the best example to show why Imama and the Shia concept is correct. And the man-made concept is false. Because it shows you what that concept became. And this is why we blame Abu Bakr Umar for it. Because we say that the system that you started resulted in this. That's why in our narrations, they're blamed for it.
Yeah.
In our narrations, but you would say, but why are they blamed? That's why everyone's held accountable. Of course, Yazid's the one who done it. But it's who set up the foundations. Sometimes you need to look a bit deeper.
Yeah.
So that's why Imam Husayn Islam opposed and destroyed every concept of that Saqifa system, and he showed that Imama is the true way that God chooses. And that's why we do these processions, to remember Imam Husayn and what he stood for. He stood against oppression, no doubt. But the oppression he stood for, he was the last in line. Because after Karbala, it started a revolution. Imam Husayn's grandson, Hazrat Zaid bin Ali, alayhi salam, he rebelled. So many descendants, Zaid bin Ali, Imam Zain al-Abidin's son, who the Zaydiyya Shia follow. We respect him, but they take him as an Imam. He rebelled. So many Sayyids, meaning descendants of the Prophet, started rebelling. Because no one was willing to accept Yazid as a political and religious ruler. They knew he's just a king now. Or even the people that came after. Because everyone that came after built their legacy on Yazid and what they done before that.
Absolutely.
So either whether it's from the Banu Umayyah or from the Banu Abbas, they all build their legacy from that.
Absolutely.
And that's why the Prophet's family, they done what they... So by Imam Husayn doing that, he done what he had to do. So no one took that system serious no more. They knew these people are just corrupt leaders now. That's why they had rebellions against them, and the Prophet's family never accepted no one from that line. From the beginning, Abu Bakr, till the end. Neither the Imam Ali, neither the Imam Hassan, neither the Imam Husayn, no one accepted it. And the end of it was Karbala.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why, as you can see, the procession we're doing here.
He's lying.
And this is the type of behaviour you see.
And this is the type of behaviour that you see week in, week out.
These are the people who call to Islam.
These are the kind of people, mashallah, he had a big beard as well. These are the kind of people.
This is the type of behaviour Imam Husayn Islam stood up against.
And obviously he's here to say I'm lying, but is he willing to come and talk to me?
No.
Thought not, innit? But anyway, that's what we're here to do today. Inshallah, I've delivered the message. Inshallah, I'm going to link the video of last year if you want more details about Karbala. I done a whole speech on this last year. So say that, inshallah, we can link that.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
And we can discuss that.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'll leave that with that. Now, if there's any questions or anything you want to ask, or so then if you want to add something, feel free.
No, I think you've beautifully summed it
And
up.
I think Kalam, someone had a question.
Shout out to Titans TV.
Big up Titans TV, better
Content,
anyone
everything.
recording, content, everything, everyone here recording.
Like, subscribe and share and all these channels.
Yeah, come on, cheese. Fire, Kalam.
That's it, bro.
No, he let him wants to ask a question.
Yeah, come
Yeah,
on,
he was asking questions, yeah.
In Sunni Islam, there is something called the four rightly guided beliefs.
Yeah.
Why is it after Ali they're not considered rightly guided?
Can I respond to that?
Oh.
So this concept about full rightly guided, it's a made-up concept. In fact, there's a tradition in Bukhari where somebody asked the son of the second Caliph, according to Sunnis, Umar ibn Khattab, who is the most superior after the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him. Sayyid, do you want to tell his response?
When they asked,
Who's more superior? Who's most superior after the Prophet? What do you
you're talking about Ibn Umar?
Yeah, Ibn Umar.
Son of, he says Abu Bakr, then Umar, then Uthman, and then we didn't consider no one superior than the other.
So this proves that this
That
concept about
concept's
full
late.
rightly guided, it's a later development. It never existed.
So in
before.
theology it developed because when Imam Ali became the Caliph, they fought him. So clearly they never accepted him in his time.
You wouldn't be fighting a full rightly guided Khalifa, right?
Now back to the point that you said, I'm going to stick to your question. Why is it afterwards they don't say rightly guided? That in itself tells you there's a problem. Let's just say no problem. Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman are guided. Ali's guided,
What about
obviously.
the rest of them?
So why is it that you've made a distinction and said, or some of the scholars included Imam Hassan, why is it that afterwards you haven't included the rest as rightly guided caliphs? It means even you know it's a problem. They weren't good people, at the least. And they haven't included Muawiyah in the rightly guided caliphs either.
Because they say he was a king. So they admit that. So they admit it stops at 4. And then obviously, what about Imam Hassan alayhi salam? They accept him to being a Khalifa. But they say, oh, he only got it for what, 6 months or whatever.
So some of the scholars say that he's a rightly guided caliph like Jalaluddin Suyuti, etc.
Yeah.
Some don't. But the point is that after Imam Hassan, they have not said no one's rightly guided. And that tells you itself, because of history, it's a mess. Killing after killing. people in the park, when you talk to them about these issues, you mentioned Muawiyah, but there's a person in the park who he's actually very ignorant, but he likes to talk about these issues. He says, how can you talk about Muawiyah? He spread Islam. What is the always thing they say? He spread it to Cyprus. I'm like, so your scale of righteousness is who spreads it. So I can kill 100 people and spread Islam to another region, but I'm cool. That's your scale of saying I'm a good guy.
But
Who told you you're supposed to be spreading Islam by the sword?
Yeah.
And who told you to conquer lands in the first place?
There's an important point here. And the important point here is if you're going to spread Islam by sword, then you're going to end up with a society of hypocrites. So outwardly they'll accept Islam, but inwardly they'll reject the religion.
Yes.
This is not the way.
And
to
also,
call
and
people
also,
to
then you
religion.
can't, and also, then you can't make a point when someone,
When
someone
rise up against it. Use the same thought.
when someone has a war against you or tries to invade you. When someone tries to invade you, can you actually blame them? You can be like, oh, it's oppression. Well, you believe you can do the same thing though. So therefore, the answer is, after the rightly guided caliphs, we know there's a clear problem. The bloodshed, by the way, all of the Prophet's family, Hazrat Zayd bin Ali, martyred. Brutally killed. They killed him and put him on a cross. The Prophet's great-grandson, after Imam Husayn. So they never stopped with the killing of the Prophet's family.
I continued.
Why are there descendants of the Prophet in different regions of the world? Why are there Sayyids, descendants of the Prophet in Africa, in Asia, in other Arab lands, in Iran? They're moving because they were getting killed. You with me?
And they asked, why did Imam Ali alayhi salam, why did the later generations of the Imams name their kids after certain individuals the Shias disagree with? But come on, look at history. They were being persecuted and killed.
So the best thing would be to do is name them that. Because that's the smartest way being on the issue. Because after Imam Husayn, someone could say, why didn't Imam Husayn do taqiyya? Do you know why? Taqiyya has conditions. Taqiyya is done when needed. If me doing taqiyya is going to destroy my religion, or destroy it, when I say my religion, I mean the religion.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to be in a state of confusion. At that moment in time, taqiyya becomes haram.
Yeah.
Because now, it has the opposite effect. That's why for Imam Husayn, taqiyya was not allowed. The Imams after him, they practiced it. Because they had to spread the teachings. Them being martyred in a war would have not been beneficial. And they knew that. So they spread the message at the same time. And that's why all the sources that have reached us are through the Imams. So that's the answer to that question. Anyone else want to say any other questions or anything on this issue?
No.
So I think we're cool.
Should I get some people? I don't know.
Yeah, if anyone wants to come, anyone wants to discuss?
Zan!
Zan discussing?
Zan have a discussion in front of the camera here with that guy.
Do you want to get Zan here on the camera? Get him on the Kalam. Shall I get Zan on the camera here? Oh, yeah, stay here, 1 minute.
Let's just stay too late, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna chip you.
Alright. Say, I'll watch what you guys. Oh, thank you, bro.
Where's the intellectual Shia? The intellectual. Where's the intellectual? I call it intellectual Shia, man. All Islam, how you doing, bro? Yes, no problem. No, there's no sense. It's fine. Yeah.
Why did they get carried away?
And they hit themselves? Why did they hit themselves? Is that what you mean?
No, it's not recording.
It's still recording. Yeah, let it record. Come, man.
What do you want me to say?
No, bro, I don't want you to say nothing. I just want you to vibes on camera, bro. You're hearing it. So today, obviously, I talked about Imam Husayn, talked about what happened, talked about the procession, talked about the Saqifa system and our Imam system, how God chooses. Of course, like, how he destroyed. Oh, no, good one. I like this, brother. I see him on YouTube. I like this, brother. So, also, even afterwards, the oppression of the Prophet's family didn't stop because we built, after the Prophet's family were martyred, we built shrines for them.
Saddam Hussein destroyed the
100%. They built shrines for them to show that, listen, these are our revered individuals. It's logical and it's very common in human nature that societies, they honor their dead.
Right. Psychology, right?
It's very common that no matter what religion you are, you honor your dead. And people do this in different ways, but one way that everyone kind of knows is that you build a monument for them.
Of remembrance.
Imam Husayn's shrine and other Prophet's family shrines, they were built. Even their shrines were not left alone. People to this day try and bomb their shrines. I've got a video on this. about Jonathan al-Baqi. I've done a speech on this in the Spark, and I spoke about how these people, they want to actually destroy the shrines. Does that trigger a group's name in your head?
Salafi is Kafirs. In case you
ISIS,
don't know.
worse than that, bro.
All the same. All the same.
So when I start destroying shrines, as a Salafi, do you have a right to be against it?
Ammar ibn Yasir shrine in
Did
Raqqa.
Amr ibn Yasir destroyed?
They repeated the Siffin again.
In Iraq, they destroyed the shrine of, in Iraq, they destroyed the shrine of Nabi Yunus alayhi salam. Nabi Yunus alayhi salam, they destroyed that shrine. I've got this in my video on Jonathan al-Baqi. So even after the Prophet's family, they never let, and that's why when Imam Ali was buried, he said, show multiple graves so that they don't know where I'm buried. Because they know he knew what they would do to his shrine and his grave.
Okay. And that's then.
And that's then.
And they're the same.
And they're still
the same
doing it now.
Sunnah of kufr.
And they're still doing it now. They're destroying our shrines. And this is what it is. And shrines are a place of veneration and respect.
Under the excuse
Of
that we worship them.
yeah, under that.
Under the excuse.
And that's what you call a false pretext.
All you need to do, if that's really the case, just build a massive fence around it and protect it. Why would you knock it down?
Exactly.
If they started going to your palace and worshipping you in the palace, would you smash
And
your
do you know
palace
what's funny?
down?
Do you know what's funny?
No,
Do you
you
know-
wouldn't smash your palace down. What would you do?
You would, yeah.
You'd get the police to move
Yeah.
them.
And do you know what's funny?
Alright.
Hajj. People do bad things in Hajj.
Oh, indeed.
Astaghfirullah, do you destroy the Kaaba? Never. Never. You stop the badness. First of all, no one worships anyway.
Unless
that's
you're a
argument.
Sunni, because they knocked down the Kaaba how many times anyway?
That's happened in history.
Yes.
By the way, Yazid, one of Yazid's karamat, miracles, as I say, sarcastically, after he killed Imam Husayn, in the second and third, he didn't finish there. He attacked Medina al-Munawwara the following year. When he attacked Medina, he used the Prophet's mosque as a stable. And he said to his army, I make Medina halal for you for 3 days, do what you want.
And that's,
They say 700 Sahabi were killed. Oh, those who say that if you curse or if you disrespect the companion, you're a kafir. Yazid killed 700. But when you go to these people and say, is Yazid a kafir? I buy. The Prophet like, sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, those who oppress or those who scare, though it's not verbatim, but those who oppress, those who scare the people of Medina, Allah's curse be upon them. That's for scaring the people of Medina. He killed Imam Husayn.
Bruv, they killed bare people there. What did they do with the women there?
That year was known as the year
The
of.
Kaaba.
After that, they
pieces.
basically, astaghfirullah, raped the woman. And so many children were born out of adultery,
So
they
it's-
called it the year of adultery.
So is ISIS new?
So for you lot ISIS, for the non-Muslims, for you lot ISIS is new. We've been dealing with this mentality for 1400 years. We know what it is. And it's that same mentality that the minute I speak, man comes in, goes, he's lying and walks off. This is a similar, it's a small level, but that grows into that. Because you can't even dialogue. That's why in the Spark when we come and we speak, literally I walked in a minute ago with Kalam and my brother, I'm walking past, someone walks past and goes, what are you saying, waste man or something? Like, they can't even handle you being here. They've got this, it's a psychological problem.
Bruv,
And-
these dumb mushriks.
And that's why the amount of hate they have towards my people, wallahi, these people will talk to people who disrespect the Quran. They'll sit with people who disrespect the Quran. They'll sit with people who disrespect the Prophet. They'll be cool with everyone, just the Shia. Because in reality, they see us worse than everyone. Ask them, they're not even shy about it, some of them. So this is the khulasa, obviously, what happened today. And what we're, inshallah, for 1400 years we've been doing this, but for 1400 years, do you know what question I get from the other side? Instead of asking about, well, I never knew this, the only question I get is, why do you hate yourself? Habibi, leave that. Don't worry about hating ourselves. Don't hate yourself. Just respect Imam Husayn and understand who oppressed him. Understand what happened. The same people that say we don't, the same people now, the same group will say, we don't praise Yazid, we don't curse him. When their Salaf cursed him. Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal. Who? Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal cursed Yazid. So even their own Salaf did curse Yazid. But to this day, some of them will say, we don't praise, we don't. Where did you get this from? Normally, I'm a Salafi, I follow that. When it comes to this issue, Ibn Jawzi, the famous Hanbali jurist, wrote a whole book against Yazid. So it's not that the scholars don't know what it is. Some of the scholars were fair on the issue. But today we find them so unfair that they can't even willing to accept it. Normally it's Ahmed bin Hanbal, Ahmed bin Hanbal said this. Today when I say he cursed Yazid, it's like, yeah, Well, that's his opinion.
He wasn't perfect.
He wasn't perfect.
in
That's the new one.
everything.
So it's a circular argument. To understand the religion, we refer to the Prophet and the Salaf. Cool. I quote the narration. They say, no, we want the interpretation from the Salaf. No problem. I'll give you the Salaf. You say, we want the Prophet. You say the Prophet. So it's circular. It's a merry-go-round. You can't win. Some of the scholars, like Imam Baghdadi, in his tafsir of the Quran called Ruh al-Bani, he called Yazid a kafir khabith, meaning wretched individual, and said he didn't even believe in the Prophet. He was the most disgusting of people for killing the Prophet's grandson. He says it. So a lot of the scholars have said it, but a lot of the scholars defend. So righteously people exist everywhere. So the righteous one said it as it is. But murking Yazid's one thing. It's Imam Husayn, that's alhamdulillah. It's like me saying Hitler was bad. Would you praise me for that, or would you be like, that's obvious? It's got to a point where if I said Hitler was a bad man, you're gonna be like, well, that's obvious. You're gonna be like, everyone knows that. Yazid's an open book. Someone says to me, no, how do we know Yazid killed Imam Husayn? How do we know this? I want to see it explicit, where Yazid put the ruling down and said, kill Imam Husayn. So you're employing a sort of deception. If I showed you dictators in the world, let me flip it. I'm from the Indian subcontinent. Kashmir. In Kashmir, people are getting killed right now. If I said to you, the only way I'm going to accept it is if you show me Modi saying, I want those people killed. You can't show me. Because the level of evidence I'm giving you right now, it's so high, it's impossible to get that. You don't get that in history. You get dots and you connect them.
Right.
Otherwise, if you apply that standard, then no matter what atrocity I showed you, I can just say, no, I want it explicit. You can't prove half the atrocities then. So that level of evidence is invalid, and it's used to. One time they say Yazid wasn't there. George Bush wasn't in Iraq, was he? So why'd you blame him then? What kind of logic, what kind of mantiq is this? All to save Yazid, and then the same people will say we love Husayn. The same people in the same sentence will say we love Husayn, we just don't hit ourselves like the Shia, we don't do this. Don't hit yourself, bro. Don't do it. Just say the truth. But can they? Because the Saqifa system states you're not allowed to rebel against the ruler. So maybe that's why they can't. Because Imam Husayn opened up something which goes back early.
Ibn Zubair.
Ibn Zubair rebelled again?
Did he not rebel?
He rebelled.
The Tabi'een.
Did they not rebel?
Sahaba Tabi'een.
So Imam Husayn broke the system, and alhamdulillah, we're going to leave it at that today, inshallah. So you get me. Last year's video is going to be uploaded, inshallah. Check it in the link so you can check out last year's video as well. Big up all the cameramen, big up Titans, big up Better Gadir, big up all the brothers that come today, big up Shia Easter, you get me? Big up, get me? Black intellectual Shia. Get me?
Assalamu alaikum to the family that's coming.
Man. You get me? Big up, big up, big up, big up. Now Kalam, thank you for coming down today. Get me? Kalam recorded the thing today as well. We done the procession. Get me? I appreciate it. No, Kalam's become that guy. He doesn't really show no more. He's doing
I don't come at all.
So this is like a
A whole 8 months. I ain't come to film and see what's going on.
Yeah.
The first time I came out was for you.
Come, man. Come. Yeah, come. First time he comes, come. Blade Runner's here as well, you get me? Blade Runner's here as well, you get me? Blade Runner's here as well. Yeah, come on, appreciate you.
Great Black Shia.
Any words, bro? Any wise words?
Any wise words for today?
About what we're doing today?
I think the main message for me, guys, will just be to understand Imam Husayn's message in contemporary society and understand how important it is today. Because you've seen how much extremism there is. And of course, we're at a place where extremism is at its heights. So remember Imam Husayn's message today. I remember that both people were saying La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah on that day. Not just one side, they were both doing it. They both prayed. They both fasted.
And then they killed the Prophet's grandson.
And then they killed the Prophet's grandson. So you find a lot of people.
And they say there was a lot of Huffaz in Yazid's army. Huffaz. Meaning memorized of the Quran.
Memorizes, yeah.
But they killed Imam Husayn.
The Quran
so
was
these
the best.
things, they do mean something, but at the same time they don't.
They don't.
They really don't.
So it happened 1400 years ago, and it will happen today as well. People will use the name of Islam to justify their own ends of their own means of their actions. So just remember that. There's always 2 different versions of Islam, whereas we have 73 different versions.
And that's why Imam Husayn said, and Husayn, just take it for a minute, talk for a minute while I find this quote from Imam Husayn. I want to end it with one quote that's amazing.
Yeah. So the main thing is, understand there's always different sects of Islam that have different opinions. And there will always be different Muslims out there, so don't judge us all by the same cover. That's the main message for me, guys.
Kalam, Titans, you back in the park forever now?
No.
Straight no.
As long as you're here, I'm here.
Alhamdulillah. We do once in a while.
Injections.
We do once in a while. We do it. So, Imam Husayn said, on the day of Ashura, if you do not have any religion, the army, remember, they're claiming to be Muslims. Imam Husayn says, if you do not have any religion. So he's actually saying, listen, I know you're claiming to be Muslim, but you don't actually have no religion. If you do not have any religion, then at least be free in your present life.
Be free.
Allah Majlisi mentions that in his Behaviour Anwar. When Imam Husayn says that, what does he mean by be free? Free doesn't mean do whatever you want. Free means live according to justice. Because that's what they were doing, they were oppressing. So he goes, you don't believe in no religion, and it's a good message for people that are non-Muslims. That if you don't believe in no religion, or if you're not a Muslim, no problem.
Yeah.
But live a life where you're respectful.
And the biggest proof of that is, there weren't only Muslims on Imam Husayn's side that day.
Yeah.
There wasn't only Muslims.
He had a Christian companion
There
as well.
was a Christian companion and his son. And they were both shaheed on the side of Imam Husayn.
So Imam Husayn was, listen, if you don't want to be free, if you want to live this life, don't follow no religion, but be free, be a good person. Don't live like animals. As we see sometimes in the park, animalistic behavior to the ones that say La ilaha illallah Rasulullah. And then people wonder what the issue is. You with me? And then that's why Imam Husayn said to Hur, who was the person who changed sides. He said, by Allah, you are a Hur both in this world and the hereafter. You are free in this world and the hereafter. And that's the message of Imam Husayn, and that's what we're here for today. So Allahumma salli ala Ali Muhammad, Ya Ali Madad, Naray Takbir,
Allahu Akbar.
Naray Risalat,
Ya Rasulullah.
Naray Haidari,
Ya Ali.
Bigger. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
We need more Pakistanis in the crowd, bro. You guys are doing justice, bro.
Kalam gets it, bro.
You man are
Kalam
doing
knows how to do it.
justice, bro.
Kalam knows how to do it. Kalam knows how to big up.
Riza, done.
What's he saying?
He's talking about
From your Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
life for them.
Listen.
And that's become your best friend. And that's love. It's a powerful thing. Everybody needs it. From the smallest baby to the oldest. We are a child of someone. No matter how old you are. We are our child. We are the children. And we are the child. No matter the 90, 100. We are children. So I don't know, it's hard to address situation, and it's hard, to talk about certain things, but as I always say, feelings don't lie. Feelings is the only thing that comes from you that is true. You feel sad, you feel happy. It's a feeling. It's a natural thing. That's what makes us human. Because we can express our feelings, I do it on a musical vibe. God bless me that I can sing